What? What do you mean? I'm telling you, I felt no issue.
Who lies about being a third grade teacher?
You, Joe?
Wait, you're saying you're pretty good at becoming Joe from You?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Jenna. Welcome back to the podcast. Hey, everyone.
Yay!
Welcome back to the Fire and Rice podcast, Reheated, episode 6. My name is Jack. Joined with me, of course, is Jenna. And it was her birthday last week. So please sound off in the comments below. Happy birthday to Jenna. Woo!
I feel like I've just had an ongoing birthday celebration that I don't deserve, that doesn't feel earned, if that makes sense. I feel like I've been celebrating it from not last Thursday, but the Thursday before, like that weekend, Saturday, Sunday, into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now it's Monday. So I've been celebrating my birthday for the past 2 weeks.
I thought you were going to go into that song that's very popular right now, the way that you were listing the 7 days of the week.
Oh! No, that's funny. That's funny. No, Jared actually introduced that song to me. I had no idea what that song was about, and I used it for a dance video, like a reel, because I just thought it was one of those, Carly Rae Jepsen type of songs where it's like, or no, not Carly Rae Jepsen, sorry, Rebecca Black. It's like, it's Friday. I thought Jungkook was like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Jared was like, here are the lyrics, and I was like, oh.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing is I think the clean version is more happy and the real version is like, oh, gotcha. But
Gotcha.
anyway, I don't know. I just cut you off because the way that you were like enunciating the days of the week, I was like, oh, wow, she might actually end up saying it.
Maybe I subconsciously was going there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were celebrating pretty much this whole time, and
It almost feels unearned.
why?
Though I don't know. I feel guilty, but it's so fun and I love it. But it's like I feel bad almost. Does that make sense?
It does, but it's interesting just because, like, I don't know. I feel like I feel like this birthday in particular makes the most sense. Whereas like before, all the other ones usually are the ones that are like, okay. I mean, they're all important, of course, but I'm just saying like the ones prior. There's like certain milestones, and I feel like 21 is definitely a milestone. So
Yeah, it feels like the big one that I'm like, oh, now that I'm past this hump, it's like I just have to look forward to renting a car at 25.
yeah, the next one
And
would be
being able
25,
to be in TV shows that are sponsored by alcohol. That's 25.
right. Yep. So
Yeah.
that'll be the next milestone, I guess. But cool.
Yeah.
So, you've had a lot of celebration and a lot of people reaching out, which is always cool. Are there any highlights or recaps that you want to start off with?
Yeah. So let's see. We did Head in the Clouds
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, Sunday, August 5th through the 6th. And I'd never been to a festival before. Sorry, I said festival. I've never been to a festival before. And it was great. It exceeded all of my expectations. I was really nervous because every time I think of big music festivals, I just get scared of crazy people. You hear those stories about okay, I'm sure everyone is so lovely when it comes to Coachella and Stagecoach and Burning Man, but like my biggest fear is just seeing like I don't know if I'm gonna keep this in. My biggest fear is just seeing like a bunch of like annoying people, if that makes sense, that are just like bumping into you, and it's just like making it not a fun time for you. Like I get weary of places with lots of people where a lot of dangerous things could happen, accidents could happen, So I get scared about those things. That's why I don't really have the want to go to those. But Head in the Clouds was always the festival that I was like, yes, of course I want to go there. You know, it's the biggest Asian festival out here. Let's go support. So yeah, I was very fortunate enough to have gone with 88 Rising to promote their merch, to promote 88 Night Market, and that was really cool, and everyone was really, really chill. I think that
Good.
the audience that it attracts, it's very chill. Felt like
Yeah,
a lot of
I feel like
relatives, you know.
yeah, no, it makes sense. I feel like it definitely has a certain crowd that is kind of part of that community. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I've never been to a festival now that I think about it. I'm more of a
Oh
just
yeah.
concert goer. Um,
Mhm.
I like I don't know if I would dislike it or like it. I don't really know. I just know that for me, I don't wa- I want to know who I'm gonna see them, and then be done for that purpose. Just
Yes.
because I don't know, like an all day thing sounds great and everything, but I get tired so quickly that I feel like I wouldn't enjoy it that much, considering like you have to be there, you have to get a good spot, you have to wait, then you get to see other acts and like, okay, cool, that's great and stuff. But if I'm there to see one person, I would have to know that like the guests that are gonna and artists that are gonna perform like are a good group of like boom, 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 boom. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. No, I mean, you yeah, your exact thoughts are very valid because I think that Jared and Katya would have a good time if they went. I think that you you would have a good time if you went, if it wasn't so hot. I think it's just
Yeah.
so hot, and I think that you would get annoyed quickly because the issue that Sky and I ran into, because we had never done this before, was we got there as soon as it opened. We got really good parking spots, and we got in right away, and it was great, but it was like 100 degrees. It was so hot. I got really, really tan over the past 2 days. And the issue was, yeah, we didn't quite know all of the artists. We knew some of them, but then you have to wait from like 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. at night. And during all that time, you're just kind of eating and walking around. It feels like a big playground, and everyone's just at a long recess, and you get to do whatever you want. You get to eat, and you just get to walk around and see all these artists. And the nice thing is if you don't know someone, you can watch them and then get to know their music and then like them from there. I feel like that's very effective for me, is when I see someone live who I don't know, I become that much more attached to them once I start to get into their music. So that happened with me with a few artists. I was like, oh, I actually really like their music, and I got really into it. But then if your favorite artist is playing at 10 o'clock at night and you can't muster up the energy to go see them, you're just going to leave. And that's what Sky and I did. We ended up leaving before some of the acts because we were just so tired and so drained.
Yeah, I that is a good point though. Like you get to kind of see people maybe that you never would have been exposed to, and it is nice to learn that way. And I think that's for me that is why, like a lot of people that go to concerts, they'll just show up technically like late. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a time that the concert starts, but that means the openers and whatever. But I usually get there at that time because I do want to see
Mm-hmm.
like openers and stuff like that. Sometimes it's other names that I'm familiar with, or it's just new people that I've never heard before, and it's like that's where I can learn about them. So that's my kind of way of doing that. I know that some other concert goers just like show up. They just let's say that the concert starts at 7, but they'll show up at 8 because that's when the headliner or like the main person is coming out. So I don't know. Yeah, it just sounds like a really long time, to be honest. It's like,
Yeah. Well,
I
granted
don't
that
know if I can. Yeah.
you get tired at Disney World with all that walking and the heat and the humidity, but Disney World at least has buildings to go into.
Yeah. Yeah. Buildings, air condition rides so you can sit and like recover a little bit.
Yeah.
Actual, like, I'm sure the food and stuff is good, but it's like, I don't know, maybe there's other like refreshments at other amusement parks and stuff that you can actually like go in half. So
Yeah.
whatever. But
The cheapest meal that you could buy was $21. So
that's the other thing is they can do that and they can get away with it because you're just stuck there.
yeah, because you're
So
stuck because you can't get out. Because Sky thought about dropping off our bags at the car once we were in there. Like, oh, we're getting tired. Maybe we should go out. So we went to security, and they're like, if you leave, you can't come back for the day. We're like, no. So yeah, that was the other thing. You're just kind of there. But overall, I had a blast. I mean, I already miss it a lot. I want to go back. I definitely am excited if I get to go again next year. And yeah, it was a fun time overall. So that was cool. And then we came down for my birthday day. You guys came out to San Diego, and my boyfriend came out to San Diego, and we had a good time. We went to brunch at Snooze.
yep,
Can't go wrong
yep.
with Snooze. I had my first mimosa, and I didn't like it
Right. I remember.
because I thought
Yep.
it was going to be sweet, and I didn't think it was very sweet. And then we kind of just chilled. We played Rummy Cube.
Yep.
And then we did some stuff in between. I mean, people had to work in between. Jared had to work, Sky had to work. And then we had dinner at Fogo de Chao, which was really good.
hmm
In there, the waitress was like, "Oh, can I see your card? Is this your first drink that you've ordered?" And I said no because I had breakfast earlier. So no. But yeah, so I got a glass of wine and I got a cocktail, which I didn't quite like, so I gave it to your fiance to drink.
Yep.
And our aunt, who also doesn't drink, drank it. So there's that. But I like the wine. I think I'm more of a wine person.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess you'll have to see what types of mixed beverages you would like because it sounds like you're just not into it.
Well, okay. So we did that, right? Cool, fun. Ate lots of good food, and then we went home. We opened the cake, blew out the candle, but didn't eat the cake. Put it back, did presents, and then we went out. Which, by the way, Mom and Jared ate my cake while I was gone. I didn't get to enjoy it.
That's
Which
okay.
made me really sad, but it's okay. I got one slice and it was really good. But we went to,
Name and address withheld.
which was a bar that Jack was like, "Oh, we have to go to."
Name and address withheld.
We were like, "I don't know, Jack, that sounds boring." But it was our only option. So we went real quick, and there were like 3 different parties there. There was a group in the back who was just there to do karaoke. There was a group there for their company party, and then there was us. And it was a good time. It was a good time. Got to
Yeah.
enjoy some
I think
karaoke.
Yeah, I think we showed up at an interesting time and also I guess for context, it was a Tuesday night, so I didn't really know what to expect. But I took you guys there because it was, like you said, the only option we had. That was the only one that we could find on a Tuesday that was open until I think it was open until 2 that day. But like when we were eating at dinner, we were like, oh, let's see if there's anything around the area that would be open, and all of them were closed. And I was like, well, it is Tuesday, whatever. But the Classic is open. And the only reason I even know about that place is just because that's like the local spot, I'm pretty sure. It's definitely where all of the people that I know go to. I've been to a few times. The last few times that have been more, I think they've been on like weekends, and it's more, it transforms randomly. Like it looks like when we went in there, that looked very dead to me. There wasn't really much going on. There wasn't that many people. Again, it was a Tuesday. And you even, I think, I don't remember who whispered it to me, but they're like, is this considered a dive bar? And I was like, I mean, kind of. Like, it definitely felt like it on that day. But like on the weekends, or whatever, like if they have a DJ, the lights are strobing and it's super
Yeah.
dark and it's just super loud and it feels very club like. So I was actually hoping for that, but then looking back, it wouldn't have made sense for a Tuesday to be like that anyways. So I think we definitely stumbled in on a karaoke night, which ended up being pretty funny. And like you said, there was some company there that seemed to be doing their kind of like late night end of the work trip happy hour type thing, but ended up going until literally closing, it felt like. And then a group
Yeah.
that was there to karaoke. So overall, very, very interesting experience, but, surprisingly turned out okay.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was fun. It was fun. I actually really liked it. I'm glad that was my first bar experience. And my drink of choice is Malibu with, well, I got pineapple juice. Malibu with pineapple juice. Yeah, you can never go wrong with that. That is my drink of choice. That or Malibu with orange juice is my favorite.
Okay, very interesting. Well, we have to
mhm.
try to figure out and decipher from that what other options there are for you. So,
Well, okay. So then that was that night,
Mhm.
which, by the way, someone someone that night said that they were a third grade teacher at my elementary school, and we did research after, and they were not indeed a third grade teacher at our elementary school. This is why no matter what age you're at, 21, 16, 10 years old, you don't talk to strangers you don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Can you attest to
Interesting.
that?
I didn't do the research. All I'm saying is, yeah, sure,
We
don't
looked
talk
it
to
up.
strangers,
He's
I
not a
guess, but
third grade teacher.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have no comment about it. I have no comment. I was just there. I was just keeping
Jack?
a watchful eye upon. I was keeping a watchful eye upon my crew because I was the designated driver and sober one of the crew. But I still had a fantastic time because I can bring the energy when needed. But I was there to keep everyone safe and secure, and I felt no concerns about stranger danger. But anyways,
No concerns, but he was indeed a threat.
what? What do you mean? I'm telling you, I felt no issue. I was
He was a
watching the
threat,
whole time.
Jack. Who lies about
Oh,
being a third grade teacher?
listen, I don't know. I don't know. Again, I didn't do the research myself. I'm a pretty good private eye detective kind of guy. I'm pretty sure I could find some information about this individual because I find a lot of information very quickly. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay, then do something because to clear his name. Because as of now, in my eyes, he's a threat.
I'm not trying to clear anyone's name. I'm just saying if you ever need me to become a little bit like Joe, I'm pretty good at that sometimes.
What?
You, Joe?
Wait, you're saying you're pretty good at becoming Joe from You?
Yeah, but minus the killing part. Minus the killing part. Just the whole I can find out a lot of info about you kind of part. You know what I'm saying? Anyways.
Sure. I get you. All right. Well, anyway, so then I invited some friends. I worked a job in between, which was really fun, a little dance thing. And then on Friday, I invited some friends out to a bar in Los Angeles. I would have never thought to do this. Skylar came up with the idea, which he was like, no, it's not my idea. Stop giving me the credit. But I personally would have never done that because I'm not really big on getting people together sort of thing. Like friends for my birthday. I don't know why. Once again, I feel guilty for that. I feel guilty for like bringing people together on my birthday. I always feel comfortable doing it with family, but friends, I'm like, ooh. But now that I've done it for the first time, I get it. It's fun.
Interesting.
Just in the past, I've never really been one to invite friends to celebrate my birthday.
Yeah, I guess me neither, really.
You know what I mean?
I know
though?
that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I don't know. It's interesting to me because your personality type feels like it should make more sense for you versus like for me, I don't want to be the center of attention of anything. Like, I want to be loud and obnoxious, but on the sidelines. I don't want to be, people are there for me, kind of thing. So I get it. But yeah, I can't say that I've ever really invited anybody myself. I've had people invite friends over for me, but it is what it is.
Well, maybe it was just the way that we grew up or something. Because I don't really think we did birthday parties.
We did,
With
but
friends.
we did a few, or at least I did a few, but usually it was like, I can only think of like maybe two that were held at our house. Most of them were just like, let the kids run free at like the arcade or something kind of birthday, or like a Chuck E. Cheese type of thing where it's
But
like
when you're
you don't have
little,
to really.
right?
Yeah. But even like in high school, I remember I had friends come over one time, and that was okay. It was fine. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. My social battery's always been pretty short. So
I feel like for me, it's more so I would have birthdays where I would invite maybe two friends. Not like a whole bunch of people. Like my two closest friends or just my one closest friend at the time. Especially in high school. I only invited Vivian to come out to San Diego, and that was it. So yeah, this was my first time really doing something in all 21 years where I was like, oh, if you want to come. So I had a pretty good turnout, and it was fun. And yeah, there I had a sour with egg white, I believe is what it is.
yeah, yeah,
You know what that is?
yeah. I think so. At least I've had
Can
something
you?
like that where the egg white is kind of frothy and
Yeah.
foamed. Yep.
Yeah. It was actually really good. It was very
Cool.
good. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was telling Jared earlier because it's so dark in the bar. And it's funny because when we first got there, my friend Gabe was like, "Oh, are we gonna hop bars?" Because I think because the DJ hadn't gotten there, it was like really quiet and it wasn't really bumping. There weren't many people there, and he was just kind of like, But once the DJ got there, like people started filtering in, and it was like, oh yeah, woo, party. But I think because it was so dark in there and the music was so loud, I didn't really feel like I could feel it.
The drink.
I couldn't feel the drink.
Okay.
And then I had like a shot, and then I had another cocktail, which it's called the Face or something. I don't know. I
They
don't know what
named
was
them
in it.
differently.
And then that's when I started to feel it a little more. I was like, oh, okay. I only felt it when I went to the bathroom because the lights were on in the bathroom. And I was like, oh. So I feel like the mixture of the lights off, loud music and everything, like the environment itself made me think that I couldn't feel anything.
I can see that actually. Yeah, for sure.
And then once I went to the bathroom, I was like, oh, whoa. Yeah, okay, I can feel it.
Yeah, the lights are on. You kind of start to settle down because you have to use the bathroom, and then you realize, I think I'm like, I don't know. There must be some sort of like adrenaline or like, it's like the adrenaline and kind of like high that you're riding of like a good party time that
Yeah.
I think just once you come down a bit because you get out of the mode so that you can go to the bathroom, and then you realize what is happening, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So.
Because, when I was in it, I very much remember thinking to myself, I don't feel anything. Is that concerning?
No. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think it was kind of like a placebo type of thing. Like, I think that I thought that it was more so just my energy and the woo. And then, then our bartender gave us a free drink, free shot. She took it with us. And we went boop, boop. And then that was it for the night. And I was like, ooh. And then I went home, and Sky and I got McDonald's, and we tried to play Toad Treasure Tracker. And I was not helpful during that game because it's a puzzle game. So I was like, I can't do it. And I had a 20-piece chicken McNugget with a cheeseburger and an Oreo McFlurry.
Nice. that's a good
Mhm.
way to end the night.
And that pretty much feels like, yeah, everything that I did for my birthday.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds like a long but good celebration.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah. Yep.
So now back to the real world and what's new?
Back to the real world. Kind of feels like, oh man, like the birthday high's coming down. I saw that outside. All the kids are back in school today. But you know, it feels like the perfect timing actually for all of this to come to an end, because now everyone's going back to school. I'm gonna be starting up school next week. Um, and I'm starting at a new dance studio this week. So I'll have consistent classes every Thursday to be teaching. And yeah, it's just back to work now. No more fun time. Fun time is over.
Okay, very good. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so what does the school schedule look like? Because we touched upon it last time in terms of like it's online, so you kind of have to self-pace yourself. But I mean, is there a schedule? Is it a quarter? Is it a semester? Do you have classes picked? Everything all sorted out?
Yes, I have classes picked. It's a semester long. I believe the session is 15 weeks. And at least one of my classes, I think, is 7 weeks. I think it's accelerated. But I decided to go with it because it's a creative arts therapy class where I get to journal and draw every week. So I
Wow.
was like, oh yeah, I totally want to do that. Let me do that class. So I signed up for that one. I signed up for astronomy because I wanted to learn more about our universe and space and the stars and dwarf planets and galaxies and all that. So I'm excited for that one. And then I'm also doing a communications class, an English rhetoric class, and I think a writing class of some sort. So yeah, those are the classes I've got. And in terms of schedule, I get to create my own schedule. So I've already started with my scholarship track that I'm in. I'm part of a scholarship program where we just have to check in every week with our mentor and do courses. So it's like another course on top of it. Technically, in total, I guess it would be 6 classes, but I'm enrolled in like 5 real classes. So I've already started with that one. But yeah, I think my plan of attack is to wake up at like 6:30 every day. You wake up early. You wake up at 5 a.m. or earlier
Yeah.
than that, right? You go into work?
No, I wake up at like 5-ish, yeah.
Oh, okay. And you go in early. What time do you go in?
Depends. Like on some days I have to be in before 6 or like at 6, and some days I can be in at 7.
My plan, you know? If you can do it, if you can go in early, I can go in early. So my plan with Jack is to wake up early, do the Jack thing, wake up at 5 in the morning, work from 6 to maybe 3:30, or on days that I'm not working, just work all day long. All day. Don't stop. Never stop. And then yeah, on days that I do have to teach, because I'll be teaching 2 days a week, I'll wake up early and then stop at 3:30 and then go teach my classes. And then on weekends, I might be judging and teaching at dance competitions and conventions. So yeah, I think my work schedule is kind of like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of thing. So then my true weekends are like Mondays, Tuesdays, and Mondays and Tuesdays.
But I thought you have to do work on those days. Or school.
Yeah, but I'll do school work on those days.
That's not a weekend.
So I guess I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 7 days a week.
See, there it is. There it is.
Oh no. I guess I didn't think about that.
Well, I think you just have to approach it in a different way. So, like, for example, like I luckily just get to do Monday through Friday, kind of. I call it the 9 to 5 type of job, even though I start at a different time. But, um, and then for me, it's kind of just like Fridays, Friday afternoons through Sundays. It is like the weekend for me. So for you, if you're just doing schoolwork and it is self-paced, I think you can try to plan to have, instead of a 5 day school week, you could look at, if you're going to work on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays and Sundays or whatever it is, the off days are when you commit to just school. The other days are where you can maybe have a morning to yourself, but then only work in the afternoons, as long as, everything ends up working out. But you can kind of make the schedule accordingly. So, like, instead of overloading yourself on school, then work, then judge, then sleep, it's like, okay, maybe today is like a full day of school, tomorrow's a full day of school, then the next day is like do a little bit in the morning, take a nice break in the afternoon, then go teach, and then relax. And because I think the big thing is, don't make it where you're just 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and then like you just have no time to do anything. Because there's the one thing that I've noticed is, for me personally, with my schedule, kind of having the like late afternoon, because I start so early, I get off a little bit earlier. So having the late afternoon into like starting dinner time, I've really enjoyed having just that as like my brain doesn't think about work. I get to just be present at home, watch some TV together, go on a walk together, cook, like just do at home stuff. And then, if I want to maybe play a game before bed, or just try to get ready early and just get to sleep, I have like all of that to be able to choose my own kind of adventure at the end of the day.
Choose your own adventure.
Well, yeah.
I feel like life really is a video game. Life is the true video game.
Yeah, I mean, just depends. I know some people don't really. I mean, luckily for me, it's like I know that I'm here to work, and some people just find that kind of sad. But for me, it's like, yeah, it is what it is. I gotta make my money somehow, and I find myself thinking about that. I'm like, oh, this is weird. I'm like walking into an office right now, and I'm partaking in office life. Like, it's really weird to me sometimes. I like find myself thinking about it actively, not just like I'm just going through the motions. I'm like, oh wow, I am clocking in. Here's me swiping my badge today. Here's me going to my desk today. I wonder what's going to be for lunch today.
Now, is that because you never envisioned yourself working an office job?
No, I think I always did, but maybe part of it too was like the last job that I had was always super remote. So like, but this one feels more structured, because the last job that I had where I did go to an office, it was like very like startup-y, in that it was very open concept. So like there's like one big desk with no dividers. Like technically I have a desk and like a cube.
Yeah.
So it feels very like structured, or you could call it corporate or whatever. And I mean, it is what it is. But it's fun. It's pretty funny. It's like I just like actively think about like I'm walking to my desk today. Like it's 6 a.m. and I'm walking from my car into swipe into the building. I don't know. It's weird. It's just a weird like thing that I think of sometimes.
Do you feel like having that structure and going into an office is better than what you had before, which was more remote and more flexible?
Well, that's kind of the big debate of the current times right now, with a lot of companies requiring people to go back because, obviously pandemic times and stuff like that. A lot of offices stopped, they were just allowing you to work from home and stuff like that. And I was at my previous job, so during the pandemic, there was no change for me. Like I went from always being remote to everyone in the world is now remote, so it's like the norm. And so I think from a lot of people, most people would say they prefer still to work from home. Obviously, it's just there's a lot more flexibility. People were just getting kind of used to it, and now it's kind of getting taken away. People are being forced back. For me, having that structure is a lot nicer. I think it also just depends on the nature of the job too, for me. So having done the consulting stuff before, I was kind of always like on call almost at all times in a sense. So like there was no break from work. You could say that you were logged off, but if somebody really needed you, you kind of had to be there versus here. Unless there's like a super emergency, like once your work time is done, people kind of leave you alone and let you kind of just chill. So
I see. All right. So
there's a balance. Yep, give and take. There's balance for sure. Different work-life balance, different styles, things like that.
Something that I think, given that my whole school experience is going to be completely remote, is definitely going to be time management. I want to get better at time management this year. I'm not the best at it. I will admit that. I'm not great when it comes to time management, because when I have things scheduled in my day, I kind of have this thing where I'm like, I have all this time in the day, and I don't know what to do. Do I do this thing? How much time do I dedicate to that? And blah, blah, blah. Like, it's very complicated in my head, and I feel like so much time passes that then I'm like procrastinating, and then it's 10 o'clock at night, and then I'm like, okay, time to cram everything that I just missed from just staying in my head and trying to figure everything out to having to, make it all fit. It's almost as if all the thinking and the trying to figure out how to do everything delays me from actually doing the things. So I think my plan of attack, like you said, is to do the whole, I'm going to dedicate these days to these things, and then this day to that thing, and this day to that thing, as opposed to trying to cram everything into one day. Because I think I saw something where some content creators, instead of making content every day and posting, they just dedicate one day out of the week to making all their content, and then they have it all backed up, and then they just post it. They just have it in their drafts.
Yeah.
And that way it's easier.
No, it makes a lot of sense for sure. I think the other thing too is like, I think it's very natural, at least maybe for a lot of people, at least they can relate in what you were saying about like, oh yeah, you find yourself, it's the thinking of what you need to get done takes up more time than the actual doing, and then that delays everything. So I've also fallen into that as well, like for sure. I don't think that I work well with what the like norm, and like you can look up on YouTube like ways to focus and all these different focus techniques and stuff like that, and they don't work for me. And so I think that's a big key takeaway is like you have to find what's going to work for you. And I could give you tips, people can give you tips, and it's not really going to matter until you try it, right? Like people will say, oh, do like this, I think it was called like the Pomodoro technique, where it's like, oh, focus for 20 minutes and then do something, and then 5 minutes you get to take a break and then do it again. And for me, it's like, well, during those 20 minutes, instead of working, I'm thinking of what I'm going to do for my 5-minute break. And technically I've had a 25-minute break now. You know what I mean? So it's like those types of things, it's really hard. But once you find your groove and like the things that you can do and feel like, okay, this was a productive day, like recap how you did that and then try to recreate it. I mean, for me, it's like starting off with the small things. A lot of people are like, oh, do the hardest thing first. Like, no, for me, it's do the simplest thing that I know I'll get done in like 20 minutes. If I can complete that, check it off, I feel like I've accomplished something. And like slowly doing small things first. Now my to-do list went from like 10 to like 7 to 5 to now all I have left is the 2 biggest things. And that now I know, like, I have, let's just say I have a week to do 10 things. If I've done the first 7 in the first 2 days, now I have 3 days left or 5 days left to do the last 2. So I feel a lot more confident to accomplish that. But again, that's how it works for me. But maybe that helps for some other people as well. Just wanted to share that. But yeah, I don't know. It is a really tough thing to do. And okay, the other thing the reason why the office, going back to that whole thing, the reason why I think the office for me is really nice is that I feel like when I'm there, it's work time. When I'm at home, it's home time. So I got to really separate things again. Whereas working from home for so long, even though I have a desk here and like a gaming desk here, it's like I'm still in the same room. It's really hard, even if you're at home, to work from home sometimes because you just like have the option. And people even say this at my work too. Like my coworkers are like, "Oh yeah, it's really easy for me, and it's nice because I can do work and then just stand up, start the laundry, come back, do more work, stand up, go do the dishes, come back and do." I'm like, I don't think it works for me that way because as soon as I start the laundry, then I'm going to start cleaning and then I'm going to start doing, and I don't come back to the work versus
Yeah.
I have nowhere to go if I'm at the office. Like I would physically have to leave and people would watch me leave. And that's like kind of weird. I'm sure it doesn't actually matter, but in my head, it matters. Like if they see me leave too early or like I'm not at my desk and doing something, then at least, I don't know. There's always kind of that like psychological part for me to stay motivated. So
You are confined to your space and you only have from this time to that time to get your work done. So you got to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get that. Sorry, I'm getting stressed out thinking about all the work that has to be done.
That's just life.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff to do, but it's okay. And I think it's interesting because as fun and interesting as my life sounds, it is unconventional. And being that it's unconventional, it means that there's a lot of unpredictability and a lot of, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. So yeah, I get a lot of anxiety from that of most of the time I have no clue what I'm doing. And I'm just going with it week by week and just scheduling things as they come. And it just so happens that things end up scheduling themselves week by week, and I get lucky that way. But yeah, it's very unstable. Very scary lifestyle, but it's okay. It's all good. It is the life that I chose.
Well, I mean, I think the other kind of like not silver lining really, but just like the other kind of sub thought to that whole thing is that I think nobody really knows what they're doing. I mean,
it's a good
not
point.
just in school and in life or anything like that, but just like generally, like you just don't know what you don't know, and until you are faced with needing to like take on all of these different interviews, and like, I mean, that is a scary thing in itself, interviewing, or even like I remember when I was interviewing for jobs, it's like, oh, I have no idea how to do this, and so the first few for me were just like a struggle because it was kind of just like a practice and like a figure out like what actually is going to happen. People can tell you like, oh yeah, these are the ways to prepare, but it's like until you're in the moment and doing these types of things, you don't really know. Or like anything else, like trying to fix like the bathroom sink. Like I don't know what I'm doing, but I have a leak in my sink and I have to try to figure that out. Or something fell apart on our like sliding glass door and I have to fix that too. It's like I don't know what to do, but there's resources that you can go to. There's people that you can ask for help. And at the end of the day, everybody's going through the same stuff and nobody really knows anything. So it's whatever. I mean, that's kind of how I look at it right now is like, I don't know. I'm out here alone in Arizona. I don't know what I'm doing. I have a house and I don't really know what I'm doing with it. So I don't know.
Got it. So life just feels like a constant, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing, but as long as I'm willing to learn and adapt, then I'll succeed. I'll figure it out. I think that's kind of the way it goes. You're always as long as you're always ready to learn something new and at least try. And if you fail, hopefully you learn from it. And by that point, you've hopefully at least found somebody that can help you out, or at least ask. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good advice. Because, yeah, I feel like a lot of times we get so wrapped up in our little dramas every day that we forget the big picture thing, which is that, yes, we're all just going through life and we all just need to figure out, oh, how do I want to live this life? And what are my big picture goals, big bird's eye perspective goals? What can I do to get there? How am I going to get there? I don't know, but I'll figure it out. And that's life.
Yep. That's exactly it. I don't know. There's really not much more else I can say besides I don't know what I'm doing. Most people don't know what they're doing. And if you do, well then at
Good
this
for
point,
you.
yeah, at this point, if you do know everything that's happening and gonna happen, I hope you're a billionaire and I hope that you write a book and help the world because I
You
don't really
assume
know.
that they're a billionaire, though. What if the person who has figured out all life is just, they're cooped up in their little, they've got 2 cents to their name, and they're living in the woods.
Well, that's the thing is you would think that if they knew everything, they would, well, they don't have to, but I'm saying like most people today would try to monetize that and sell
Yeah.
you a program or something.
That's
But
true, that's true.
maybe that's the whole point is they're the ones that actually don't know, and you're right. Maybe the ones that are just kind of living it the way that they want to are the ones that are truly in charge of
Yeah.
and truly understand what's going on. So
I think what's interesting is in every stage of my life, I as soon as I turned when I was 17, I felt like, oh man, I'm so old. I'm so old. and then I turned 18 and I was like, wow, I feel like I'm starting at zero. I feel like I was just reborn and I am so young. I am the youngest of the young. And I thought also at the time when I was 18, 19, like, yeah, I got life figured out. It's just gonna be the same from here on out. From 18 onward, you're just going through the motions, and this is it. I know everything. And now I'm here, and I'm like, ooh, yeah. I feel like now I've got an idea of. I think at every stage of your life, yeah, you'll never feel like you've truly got it figured out.
exactly. I was just gonna say that. I think the older you get, the more you realize that every year that you turn older, there's still plenty to learn and stuff you don't know and stuff you got to figure out, and you're always gonna feel like both old and young at the same time.
Like,
Or
did
at least
you
that's how
know?
I feel.
Yeah. Did you know that the high five was coined in the sorry, let me start over. Did you know that the high five was coined in the 70s?
No, I did not know that.
See, another thing that you didn't know in your 27 years of life. Is that how old you are?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Wait, no, wait, that's not true. No, no, wait, even I forgot. No, 28.
Oh, okay. So you're turning 29 this year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Is it scary being close to 30?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's weird. Definitely is weird because like I said, I don't really feel it. I feel, like I said, I feel literally both young and old at the same time.
Mm.
It's like I go to work and I'm the youngest person there,
Right.
I think. But then I'm here talking to you and I'm older. Or I talk to some of the other people that are new, like interns and stuff like that, and they're way younger, and it's like, oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. I always think that the concept of age is weird because when I was younger, I used to think, man, 21 sounds so old. And then now that I'm here, I'm like, man, 21 is actually really young. But then I don't feel 21. But then I don't feel, like sometimes I feel older than 21.
mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I feel younger than 21. So I don't ever feel like my age, I think. But right now, because I'm just freshly 21, I feel like my age.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that checks out, especially like, yeah, freshly 21, you now have a little more freedoms to do stuff and all that. And so you kind of get to live that part right now, and that'll make you feel 21 for a while. And then once it kind of starts to settle down and you start to like, instead of going out all the time, you're just kind of sitting at home and doing whatever and partying at home. That's when you're like, okay, now I don't feel 21 anymore.
Yeah.
Now I feel
and
22.
Yeah. And then the other thing is too, because I work with kids, I don't feel too far off from them. You know? So that's why I'm like, no, when they look at me and they're like, oh, you're probably like what, 30 or 40? And I'm like, no. No. I'm not too far off from you. But then I'm like, oh, do you guys remember when the Harlem Shake came out in 2015? And the little girl in the corner goes, that's when I was born. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Now I feel old. That's when I feel old.
Yeah, I had a similar experience to that. We were talking about on our team. We were talking about, oh yeah, like what was your first car? Blah blah blah. They're like, oh yeah, I bought my first car in '94, and it was like a Ford something. And I was like, I was born in '94. They're like, I hate you. I was like, okay, my bad. But I mean, same thing though. I mean, like that's what's interesting is it's like this thing that I've talked about before. I definitely haven't brought it up here, but I just think like every time I look at the age of either the generation ahead or before me, I'm like the way that okay, I take it back. Just the generations that are after me. So like you and under, and particularly like technically like younger than you. I think about how they don't really match what I expect that age bracket to look and be like. And I don't know if that's just me being out of touch or if it's true in that like they look like they're just smaller than, I mean, me and my friends were back then. Like, I don't really know if I'm out of touch with it, but it's weird because, you know, like, for example, our cousins who are, you know, like younger for sure. I'm like, did I look like that? You know, like, not to say that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just like saying, like, was I really that small or like,
no, you
have I changed
older.
that much
more? You look
more?
like a high schooler. You look like the typical, I think, what media portrayed as high school. That's what your age looked like.
Yeah, and that's what's weird though, is because I think to myself, well, okay, I'm close to 30, so let's just say I'm 30 and round up. But in 10 years, when I'm 40, am I gonna look like the 40-year-olds that I work with? Where they look like adults. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I still don't think that I think I look like, by definition, an adult person, but I don't feel like I look like a young adult.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's funny because when we took the dogs today, when we picked up the dogs from their haircut, I thought to myself, I totally think that they think that Jared and I are teenagers. I think,
yeah,
especially since we were with our mom to pick up dogs and whatever, but I think that they thought that we were teenagers. And it's like, at what point do I actually look like my age?
Right. Exactly. So that's kind of what I'm trying to think is like, so like especially here, like where we live, there's a lot of young kids that work, and we're like, are they old, or are they like? There's no way. Like, there's one person in particular that works at our grocery store that we go to, or like that person has to be like 12. And I'm like, that's illegal. They have to be 15 to work, I'm pretty sure. So they have to be 15, but they look like they're no older than our cousin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But our cousin is 17. Oh, you're
no,
talking
I
about
think
AJ?
they look. I'm like, this kid literally is no older than maybe 2 years older than AJ, and it's impossible. Like this isn't legal, but you have to, I'm pretty sure the legal working age is probably 15 or something like that. Yeah. But either way, it's like, but that means that they're in high school, right? Like, yeah. And even like the high schoolers that are working here, I'm like, are they in high school or are they in college? I can't tell anymore because it's like, they all look young at this point, and I don't know if they're college students or if they're high school students or what. But also, to that point, I'm proud of those kids because they are working, and I'm like, heck yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Make your money.
For sure. Good on them. If it makes you feel better, Dad gets that he looks 30.
Yeah, but see, like, he is in the definition of what I consider like looks like an adult.
He looks like an adult. He does look like an adult. But when he goes out to breakfast with me, you, Michelle, Jared, they group him as one of us. So does that age us up, or does that age him down?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because
That's a good
there
point.
was a good while where they thought that dad was our friend.
Yeah,
That we were all
for
friends
sure.
going out. That he wasn't our dad.
Yeah, I know he gets that a lot. I don't know.
He still gets
Because
it.
then
which is
that
weird.
either makes it so that it ages him down or ages me up,
Yeah.
because everyone thinks that we're like brothers or something. So then that either makes him go down or me go up or both. But I don't know.
I don't get it, man. He looks like a dad.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He looks like a dad, and I look like I'm. At this point, I think we made the joke of like, oh, for me, you and Jared are at a certain age, and you guys have capped at that age and stuck there. I think we've all shifted our ages up a bit, but it's still like you're not 20 to me, or maybe still only like 17. Jared's
Oh, I
like
get
21, and I'm like 25. So like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like at least our ages have shifted in my mind, but before it used to be where we were, you guys were like 8, 12, and I was 17 or something.
Yeah.
So,
Does anyone else feel like that about their siblings, where you're locked in an age?
Yeah.
For us, it's 8. I'm 8. Jared's 11, and that makes you what, like 14 or something? 15?
14, 15, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was back then. Nowadays, I feel like I can shift everybody up a little bit more.
I feel like maybe for me it's like 16, which puts Jared at 19.
20, yeah, like 19, 20, and then me at 23, 24.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oy.
That's how it feels. So,
But
I
now
don't
we're
know.
21, 24, 20, almost 29.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's. This is no offense to anyone older than this, but that's pretty old. feels old.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll only just keep feeling older as you keep
Yeah.
going.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. I remember when I was 11 and I thought, man, I'm so old.
Yeah. I think that's kind of just the kid mindset of like, I know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Nope. But yeah. I think that brings us up on time.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, yeah, I guess definitely let us know if you do have siblings, if you feel the same way that we do, and that you guys are in a weird little age bracket. Otherwise, what else did we talk about? We talked a lot about birthday stuff. We talked about school and work.
And time
I
management.
don't really. Yeah, if there's anything that you find that is helpful for you, let us know. Because I mean, it's not to say that I don't think all tips, are exclusive to the person, but I think you can pick up a few things, try them out, see if they work, see if they don't. But anyways, yeah, thank you so much for watching this episode of Fire and Ice Reheated. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Give us a thumbs up. Comment down below what you want us to talk about in the future, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace.